G'day Bomber fans, I hope you've enjoyed the week. I was half hoping the AFL would stop the count and give us a home final, but alas, we got to earn our spot, and we have a great test coming up to see what we are made of against our old rivals, the struggling Blues. Before I get into the preview, stay till the end of the video to hear about Manscaped, and as always, we have some votes to get through. And like it was last week, you guys and I see eye to eye. We both loved the efforts of Merritt, Ridley and Martin. Some others that received a fair few votes from you were Langford and Caldwell. Unlucky really, Lang has kicked 4 goals and misses out. Just shows we had some great performers. Overall, player of the year tally, there is some daylight starting to form between Merritt and the rest of the gang. Ridley and Martin are edging closer to the top 5, but really it looks like Merritt is taking this home unless someone comes in to knock him off the top in the second half of the year. Alrighty, so MCG Sunday night, new time slot. It's the King's birthday eve, a new marquee game, so hopefully we draw a crowd out. I would love another big occasion match to get our players suited to finals like footy, and against Carlton, you got to think that is what we will get. Carlton, let's be frank, are a terrific list with no direction, but with a terrific squad and list always comes the possibility of a win, even if we are heading into the game as favourites. The good news for us is that every game we've gone in as favourites for, we have won. We've only lost to top 8 teams this season, which is great, and we've even beaten a top 4 team, so you know what you're going to get with us. There's that sense of trust now, and I think that's from Brad Scott. He clearly drills it into the players that every game is important. Neither team are in red hot form. We have won our last 3 matches against 3 bottom 6 sides, only by a kick against 2 of them, so it's not exactly inspiring, but it's job done week in, week out. We are doing what we need to tick over that win column. Unlike the Blues, who have lost 5 on the trot, they have played some tough opponents, but have almost ensured another year without September action with this mid-season form. They have all these incredible players. They got 2 of the last Coleman Medal winners, they have the last Brownlow winner, they have all-Australian defenders, but none of it seems to be working. They have holes all around the ground, but to highlight their flaws, we will start in attack. Like I said, they have 2 Coleman medalists in their squad, but they actually average the 4th least goals in the competition per game. They have only kicked 1 more goal than Hawthorn this season. That is bloody worrying. This is a team that should be up there amongst the best in terms of attack, and they have only scored triple figures against 2 teams, North and West Coast. In defence, it isn't much better. They have conceded 10 or more marks inside 50 in every game, bar the 2 against North and West Coast, while we have kept 4 teams under that column. The thing with Carlton is you don't know what they are, what their brand is. They seemingly just go out confused every week, and no offence to Carlton fans, I'm not trying to rub salt into the wounds, but they play boring footy. It's just the truth. I think the main worry for us is the fact that this game is legitimately make or break for them. They lose this and it's season over, so for that reason, against an old enemy in Essendon, you have to expect the best Carlton side to turn up, not the one that has lost 5 in a row, the one that started off the first month undefeated. There was a clear method to their inside 50 entries early in the season that we don't really see anymore. The first 4 matches they went at around 50% shots from their entries. From their last 4 matches, it has hovered around the 36% mark. They have clearly been found out, and the thing about us is that we allow teams repeat entries because we like to attack on the rebound. We often lose inside 50 battles but win games, so this is a favourable stat for us if the recent Carlton side turn up. Carlton are also, as it stands, one of the best intercept teams in the comp in terms of just pure interceptions, not scoring from them. We are better in that regard, but they average more per game than us, which could be a really interesting little battle because we like to hold onto the footy. We are only really at our best when we have lots of the pill, lots of uncontested marks, so if they can find ways to stop this and get their intercept game going, they could have a little advantage. You got to look at their midfield and reckon the contested game is well and truly in their hands, which after our effort against North is a worry because they were much better in packs when it mattered. This is why we really miss players like Setterfield and Parrish who would be able to at least give us a leg up in this regard. If you compare engine rooms, they simply put have the bigger bodies. As much as I love Merritt and Hobbs and Shield, they are hobbits compared to Cripps and Co. In fact, their smallest engine room operator, Sam Walsh, is taller than our 5 most prominent fit centre bounce attendants bar 1. So they really do have the bodies to match the contest. I think this is going to be a worry, those 50-50 little wins that they will get simply because they are bigger and stronger around the contest. So how do we win this game of footy? I think we will need to be as sound defensively as we are at our best. I think it's why Jake Kelly might return for us, because we cannot let their contested advantage become too much of an advantage, especially because we can easily rip this team apart on the way back. They will surely win the inside 50 count, but we need to make sure their entries are as poor as they have been recently from pressure and make sure they don't have too many one-on-one contests. It's a worry because they have 2 of the best marking forwards in the comp. If they are left one out with no help from other defenders, they will simply win the aerial duel. Laverde and Zerk are good, but they cannot both limit the impact of 2 common medalists. We need to somewhat nullify their midfield advantage because unless unless Parrish and Setters miraculously return, which they won't, they will have the upper hand. It's why a player I think will need to be crucial will be Jake Stringer. He is our only big body that can play there, so for us to win, he will need to be defensively accountable in the guts, which to his credit he has been all year. I reckon our ruck duo will be crucial as well. As great as young Tom de Koning is, I think Phillips and Draper could bully him. It's why I don't want Brian back in the team this week. I want Phillips to be a really physical ruck to allow Draper to have a dominant game, one similar to our Melbourne win. That should be the blueprint for them, but this obviously could change if Peter Wright comes into the team. Our setup will look very different with him back. I also want to highlight the wings. I think Nick Martin for us and Blake Acres for them will both have huge impacts on the G. They love to use that width, but Sam Durham, I really want to see him at his defensive best. I would love to see him almost run with Acres and use his tank to just shut him down, really. I rate Acres a lot as a player. I would hate to see him among the best players at the end of the match. Some possible team news, starting with them. George Hewitt should return from concussion, could even come in for Jack Silvani, who had an injury last match. They also could make some unforced changes after some losses, but for us it's nothing but good news. We have selection dilemmas because everyone in the VFL is putting their hand up. We, for starters, could have 2 meter litre competitor Peter Wright returning. That would be massive. We didn't pick up any injuries, I believe, but in the VFL, Tip and Woody was terrific. Jake Kelly was really solid returning from concussion. Nick Cox is close to a return, and Tex Wanganeen, the guy was unreal. I watched that game. He was probably best on ground in my opinion for us, so he is putting his hand up as well. So players like Snelling, Durham, D'Ambrosio even, they could be really unlucky depending on what we do. I think if Wright comes back, Phillips might go out. We will see. This is going to be one of the most interesting squad selections of the year for me. This is just a crucial game for our season. This decides whether we play finals or not. We should win. We are the favourites to win, so for that reason I am tipping us. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be tight. They can definitely win this game. They have the better list. I am unsure about my prediction, but under Scott we are trustworthy, so I trust us to nab a cheeky little 10-point victory. So that is the review done, but not the end of the video, because I got to tell you guys about Manscaped. Bomber fans, my nuts are smooth as a pair of smooth nuts, and you too can have smooth nuts if you head over to manscaped.com, buy whatever you want. The Performance Package 4.0 is what I recently got, and enter in the discount code EverythingEssendon20 to save 20% off plus free shipping. Cheers, Dons fans.